This is the final week of new Grandmasters in Season 21, and with it comes the Disgraced. It's a fairly easy one to do, but let's go over the builds that I might use and the weapons I might use to get this done a little bit easier. With this week, you can also earn the Swarm Adept, and of course you can always earn Ascendant Shards, Exotics, and Enhancement Prisms. For this week that I'm doing it, we actually have Arc and Strand Surge with the overcharge for Glaives. We also have Arc Threat, so we're going to be taking more Arc damage. So let's jump right on into it. So I went with the Strand build that we put out on the channel not too long ago. So go check that out if you want to see more in-depth details on this build. I went with Towering Barricade, though Rallying Barricade could be very useful as well. Choose whichever one you want in this case. I'm also choosing Shackle Grenade for the extra uptime on suspending targets. Went with Into the Fray and Dranger's Last because we are trying to suspend as much as possible. Went with Threat of Mind, Threat of Warding, Threat of Continuity, and Threat of Generation. That way we're going to be suspending targets very often, keeping them suspended for longer, and getting Woven Mail as much as possible. For the weapons, I took Quicksilver Storm since it is a strand weapon and there are barrier champions. This is an absolute machine when it comes to GMs, and this GM is close quarters, so it felt very nice. I also chose the Prodigal Return, and I chose this for two reasons. One, it's an arc grenade launcher, but two, it also has disorienting grenades. This absolutely isn't necessary, but it is helpful. Some of these rooms are ad dense, and getting something like disorienting grenades will slow them down. Now, you are going to be suspending a lot of targets, but sometimes the targets are a little bit further and you might not have your Shackle Grenade, and that's where a grenade launcher like this would come in handy. Since the Knights also do have arc shields, it's going to be easy to break their shields. If you don't have a blinding grenade launcher in your second slot, you could also take either a fusion rifle or a sniper, and both would be great picks. Last up, I also chose a linear fusion that's going to be strand. You can get this from Gambit, but you absolutely don't need this. It felt good, but it could have been a little bit better. It doesn't hit as hard as some of the other linear fusion rifles, but because we are buffing into the seasonal artifact, it does a little bit more damage with Unravel. I'd mainly be choosing a linear fusion or a machine gun. You could even do the Swarm if you have one, but those are going to be my best options since there are a lot of areas that have a ton of ads and thralls that can run right in your face. It's going to be easier to kill yourself with something like a rocket launcher or grenade launcher. Though if you are cognizant of your surroundings, those are also great options. When it comes to the artifact, the most important is going to be the anti-barrier auto rifle for your Quicksilver Storm. I also like authorized mods, strand mods. You technically don't need the siphon mod, but I chose it just to have it available. And then you want your top row of strand identifier so you can do more damage to strand targets. When it comes to mods, there was actually a bit of a nerf that happened since there is some weird stuff happening with people switching out armor pieces and some of the arm mods. A few of the mods got deactivated when I was running this. So as the time, I would like to run Momentum Transfer, Impact Induction, or Focusing Strike, one of these, but you actually can't put them on right now since they are bugged. So we had to change it up a little bit, and for this one, I went with Strand Loader and Strand Dexterity since we are using two strand weapons. That's going to help us out a little bit more. For the helmet, I'm of course doing Strand Siphon, which is a harmonic siphon for 1 energy. This is going to be great since you can start creating orbs with your Quicksilver Storm. I'm also looking for Heavy Ammo Finder and Heavy Ammo Scout to generate more heavy ammo for us and heavy ammo bricks for our team. Choosing heavy-handed so that whenever we do use our powered melee, we can create an orb. I actually chose to go with void resistance and arc resistance. Since there are a decent amount of ogres, I wanted to make sure to have that extra void resistance, and then we definitely want arc resistance since it is increased up to 25% this week. We can knock that down to a 10% with this resistance. I'm also choosing Concussive Dampener since there are a ton of knights. This is going to be great for those AoE effects. On the legs, I went with a strand weapon search since we are using two strand weapons and mainly the Quicksilver Storm on most occasions. This is going to help you do a little bit more damage. And I also choose Recuperation and Absolution. Absolution for the extra ability energy and Recuperation for that extra little health that you get. Lastly, I'm also taking Powerful Attraction, so whenever we are popping our barricade, which is very often, we can collect those orbs around us. We're also going to do Reaper so that we can create an additional orb. So now that our weapon is also creating orbs on multi-kills, we can create another orb after we use our barrier, generating more ability energy and health, as well as Bomber so that we can get our Shackle Grenade back a little bit more often. Now let's jump into some tips and tricks that you might actually use when you're running this Nightfall. So for the first part of this Nightfall, you can actually pull out your spare and ride it, but be sure to leave it at the staircase or right here, because if you do bring it up here, this is where you're going to be kind of, jiggle peeking to be able to take out these ads. So you can actually use this staircase as a little bit of a cover. Take out both the barrier champs. Some people say to take out both of them at the same time. We didn't seem to have an issue with it. We took out one and the other one's kind of hiding back a little bit, but we're able to take him out as well. So take out these two barrier champs, clear out these snipers that are right here, and then we're going to want to move to the left side of the room actually. So we'll take them out and jump to there. So now that we've taken them out, we're clearing off this left side. There is a captain and a few other vandals that you can clear out. So clear those out, and then we're going to want to take control of this left side of the room. So once you get up here, there are going to be adds that spawn in the middle and on the right side. So just be careful that they are spawning over there. There's a bunch of shanks that spawn, and then there's also a captain. You also have these marauders, the invisible ones that are charging you as well. But since you're up top, they have to jump up to you. You can use something like your blinding grenade to be able to slow them down and be able to easily hit them, or you can easily suspend them. You do then have a wave that spawns over here on your left side. Clear those out. It's super easy to do. You can use this box as cover. And once you clear out this wave of adds, there's actually a wave that'll come from the entrance. So you can either push up and be ready for those, or you could do what we do and we just take out this final captain and then fight them from this area, still using the same cover. So they push down, there's a barrier champ with them. You can easily suspend all these targets to make it sure they're not hitting you, clear them out, and then move on to the next section. So once you come up the staircase, there's actually 2 barrier champions up here. We've just defeated one, and there's one that's a little bit further back, so he ends up pushing back to where all the rest of the adds are. You can use this area as cover, so there's only that doorway that you have to watch out for. There's a ton of wizards, so just stay back. Because they're arc, they're going to do a little bit more damage, but you can easily suspend them, again, making them not shoot you back. That's what we do to this barrier champion, and we want to take him out as quick as possible so we can't, put that protection on any of his teammates. So again, you can use this right and left side, and we're just going to keep using this cover, popping in and out, taking out adds as we can, and then we're going to slowly but surely push up. Some people like to take out all the adds from here. We decided to push up. Either way works. You do have a set of curse throw on this right side, so just be careful of that. And then just beyond that, there's actually another barrier champion. So I like to play either right on this pillar or slightly forward onto those boxes, and you could take out both all the knights on the left side and that other barrier champion on the left side, as well as the barrier champion on the right side, using all this cover that you have to you. Keep in mind that once you do clear out all these adds, those shriekers will open up, so just be ready for that. So we take out this set of thrall, and that's enough to open up the shriekers. Thankfully, we're ready for it. We have both our shackle grenades as well as our blinding grenades that can actually stun them. So we have a teammate wipe one out, and we quickly wipe out the other one out. And then we have another wave of adds coming up with another barrier champ and some more knights to take care of. So we'll take care of those. Just don't over peek. You have a ton of cover to use in this area. It shouldn't be that hard, especially with how much suspend you have. Just suspend any targets you need and then slowly but surely take them out. So after taking out all those targets, you move on, and into this room, there's actually 2 barrier champs. So what I like to do is stand back here a little bit using the cover that's in the middle of the room, because there are snipers in the back that can hurt really bad. So I like to suspend these guys, take out one and then the other, and then let's take out those snipers, and we'll keep moving on. So once you get to this area, you can actually pull out your sparrow if you want and go to the next section. I was a little bit late, so I got off my sparrow pretty quickly so that I didn't blow up, just in case. And just push in here. There's also going to be some thralls and potentially some curse thralls. I think our teammate got through before they spawned, so that is possible, but we didn't, so I wanted to play it safe. And from here, you could actually take out your sparrow again, but I just wanted to play it safe, not die, and we go on to the next stage. So when you get here, it's all about doing damage, but also staying completely safe. So you have to do enough damage to the boss so that she actually moves away, and you do have some other champions to worry about. So we like to use this scaffolding on our left side as well as a few of the boxes and just keep poking and peeking. Again, you have suspend, so the only thing that can actually damage you is the boss if it doesn't get even if it does get suspended. Everything else will get suspended and then it can't hurt you anymore. We're taking out the champs and everything we can because we actually have the boss move back a little bit. So use the scaffolding, use the boxes. You can do a decent amount of damage to her. If you do suspend her, you then are going to get unraveling rounds, which is going to do even more damage. So just keep that in mind. Just slowly but surely whittle her down. You don't have to use heavy here, but you can if you really want to. But once she does actually move on, you will have an unstoppable to worry about. So now that we've done enough damage, we actually had a teammate that went all the way up to the front and he died in the room through something. I'm not really sure what he was doing. You don't have to do that. You can do it if you want to skip and you don't care about platinum, but there are a ton of champs. So we're going to play here. I'm using this box as cover. And again, you have your suspend. So I'm suspending that unstoppable so I can take out these wizards because they are doing that arc damage that is going to be doing more damage to us. I want to take out these wizards and everything on the right as much as possible, or I should say as quick as possible. And then I'm going to focus on the champs. So we take out that wizard, you have your suspend, and don't forget the grenade launcher for the Quicksilver Storm actually does do a decent amount of damage. We had a teammate use heavy, it's not a big deal, but we'll take this guy out. And then we also have a barrier champion at the top, so we will have to take out both the unstoppable and the barrier champ. So we take out the barrier champ, or the unstoppable champ, and then we have a barrier champ all the way up at the top there. So we do want to take him out, and then there's 2 more barrier champs in the back. So again, something like blinding grenades is super helpful here because then you're not going to have as many ads shooting at you. So there are a ton of boomer knights in the back that if you can hit them with a disorienting grenade, you know, they're not going to be able to shoot you. So take this guy out and then move on to the next section, and that'll be the final boss room. So we cleared out that one up at the top, and like I said, there's 2 more barrier knights here. And then our teammate's actually dead up there. So once I get these guys suspended, I'm actually going to go and grab my teammate, and then we're going to go into the boss room. So coming to the boss room, up here on this left side, there's that platform. That's going to be one of the main places to stay this entire time. The boss will actually spawn down here where we're looking at the first point. So we're going to do some damage to her, and she has 4 different stages. So this first stage, she's down there. Do all the damage so that you can actually move her onto the second stage. This first stage really isn't hard. You have a ton of stuff spawning just basically in front of you. So kill all them and then move on to the second stage. So now we've gotten her past the first stage. On the second stage, there's actually a ton of ads that spawn on this far side where we're looking. There's going to be a bunch of acolytes and knights that spawn over there. You can either play on this side of it and slowly take out all the enemies, or you can play on top of it, and it's going to be a little bit harder for those knights to hit you. So I believe I end up pushing up. Yep, I end up pushing up. I'm going to use my disorienting grenades to, you know, try to slow them down a little bit. It'll also take out those arc shields. And then we're going to take out all these knights, and then the boss is going to spawn right to our left. Just immediately on our left side, the boss will spawn right next to us, so just be careful that if you do take all the ads, there she is. I almost get killed by it because I wasn't aware that was the last ad. So just be a little bit wary, but now we can either use this top part and jump down if we need to, but at this point, it's basically just doing enough damage to get to that next phase. One thing to note, why we like this upper area is because you do have thralls that spawn, and they actually have to climb up to get you, and that staircase is the only staircase that they have. So it is nice to have that staircase to your advantage. So make sure that if you are up top, you're constantly watching that staircase to make sure you don't have any thralls that are going to come out of nowhere and kill you. So now moving on to this next phase, she's going to again disappear, and then we're going to have more ads that spawn in that same area along with another champion to take care of. So we're taking care of this unstoppable ogre, and then at the bottom where the boss originally spawned, there's actually going to be a few more ogres. So we do have 2 unstoppables to take care of, so just be wary of that. You have a ton of cover, again, that you can use, and you do have a bunch of suspend abilities to stun them, so take them out, and the boss is going to spawn back up on this top area again. So again, I'm going to be playing up here, knowing that if any ads come up, they're going to be coming from my right side, so just do enough damage, and then you can move on to the final stage. Don't worry about trying to burn her down right now, because she'll immediately go into her final stage, which is down at the bottom. So just play it a little bit safe, and that's what I'm trying to do. She is burning me quite hard, so I'm just going to be trying to, you know, take my time, and we do have a bunch of thralls. I like to throw tangles at my feet so that I can give me and my teammates some woven mail, and it does offer a little bit of health boost, I believe, so it is good to throw those at your feet if you have them. But take out any cursed thralls that you see, and then keep damaging the boss whenever you have a chance, but make sure there's no enemies around you. There's a bunch of thralls, a bunch of cursed thralls, so take them out, and then slowly but surely damage the boss until she moves down to that final stage. So we've done enough damage that now she's moving down to that final stage. I like to still stay up here because then it's a little bit harder for her to hit you, and you do have, like you can see, cursed thralls spawning down there. At this point, it's just a matter of doing enough damage to kill her. So we are going to pop our super once she does get a little bit lower, but for now we're taking out any ads and then killing and doing a bunch of damage to her to make it basically the end of the strike. So now she's fairly low. I'm popping my super, trying to go in and do a bunch of damage to finish off this strike and not worry about anything else. And just like that, you've beaten the final GM. Thanks for watching all these GM videos. I hope you like them. If you don't, let me know what I could do to improve them. I want to keep doing this for each season so that we have a little bit of tips and tricks for any of the GMs and the harder content that's coming out. But just like that, as you can see, you can get the adept for getting the platinum on the champions. You can get the adept swarm, a few ascendant shards, and potentially an exotic. Thanks for watching. Peace out.